I just dug a big old hole. Got that right there. It looks like a ball joint to a hip replacement to me. I don't know, man. But what the heck that could be. Interesting looking though. We'll check it out when we get home. Alright, some of y'all might remember that video right there, man. I got a target and I was digging and digging. I dug a hole that big around. Finally got it out. And that's it right there. Y'all know what that is, right? I didn't know at first when I saw it, but I was pretty sure what it was. And it is a hip joint. Alright, my mind started to work then. What is a hip joint doing in the water at Virginia Beach? You know, we got hundreds of ships that go past there. And my first thing that came to mind was they dumped the body overboard and floated ashore. And that was what was left of it right there. Then my mind just started wondering, did somebody die and fall in the water? Did somebody drown? Did somebody get lost? Whatever. I mean, it's murder. Somebody murdered somebody, threw it in the water, right? You just don't know. So I started thinking, what should I do with it, right? So I got a friend of mine that's a captain with the Virginia Marine Resources Commission. They govern all the state bottom, all the water. So I said, that's a good place to start. I said, he'd be the one responsible, that organization be the one responsible to find out what's going on with this. So I called him up. He said he would pick it up, take it into his forensic lab. They do some analysis on it. And sometimes they have ID numbers on these things where he could actually look it up and possibly find out who it belonged to. So I posted on my video. I told everybody I was going to do that and all. And lo and behold, I got a text message. Are y'all ready for this? A friend of mine says, I know who this belongs to. Now he's really got me curious. Did he kill somebody, put him in the water and knows that's where he's at? But that wasn't the case. He said that his wife, mother, had passed away and got cremated. And they gave her a box with a hip joint in it. And she finally ran across and said, get rid of this thing. I don't want to ever see it again. So my friend went out in the water, deep in the water as he could go, dug a hole in the water, buried it out in the water until the Gigmaster came along and recovered it. He said he didn't think anybody would ever get that thing, but because it's pretty heavy. It's not light. And I started doing some research on it. Do they actually give these away? I mean, you know, when you get cremated? And I could not find online where they did that. And I tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to show you some excerpts right here online of what I read and did some little research. You know, we always get an education when I do stuff. I like to kind of broaden my knowledge a little bit on things when I find stuff and do things or whatever's going on. So let me show you a couple of things right here I figured out by looking online. All right, one little interesting tidbit I came across was this right here. Things that make you go boom. And what they're talking about here is normally they don't remove anything metal out of the body, staples and hip joints, knee joints, all that. But if you do have like a pacemaker that has a battery in it, it can actually explode in it and cause some damage. So they will remove those. All right, I kept researching and I wondered how hot does a crematory get? So I pulled this up right here and it actually gets between 1,400 and 1,800 degrees. So the next question is, and it tells you in this thing right here that, you know, a lot of things won't be melted and you have to sort that out after the fact. But the next question is, what is a hip joint made of? So I looked that up and it says it can come from, made of several things: stainless steel, titanium, chromium, and cobalt is some of the metals that they would normally use in a hip joint. So if the crematories get between 1,400 and 800, what temperature do these metals melt at is the next question. Well, chromium melts at 2,939 degrees. I know you probably can't see it on screen, so I'll just look it up here. Titanium, 3,272 degrees. So all those metals that I mentioned are way over the temperatures that would be in crematory. That's why they end up being left behind. Now, let's look at which places, what do they normally do with those pieces that are left behind? I read a lot of articles online, and almost every one of them said they recycle the metals. In the beginning, they used to just send them to the landfill. They never gave them to the people. But in this case, they did give this one out, and it did mention in this particular article, you see at the bottom, some funeral directors have told me they would comply if someone wanted to keep descendants' orthopedic implants. So I guess you could ask, but for some reason, this particular funeral home actually gave this person the hip joint. All right, one more quick thing. We will be doing a proper burial at sea of this right here in the future. So I will almost guarantee it will never be found again. So I'll show you that on one of our videos when we're out doing our little stuff. All right, bottom line, it does not appear to be a practice to give these to people. They actually recycle them, and because the temperatures is like 1,800 degrees in a crematory, and it takes like 3,000 degrees to melt titanium, so it's not gonna melt that. So, but they do have a system now where they go in and they actually collect them and they recycle them and everything. But apparently, a funeral director will give you any parts if you ask for them. I guess it's kind of like what I'm reading and doing research. If anybody else knows about that, if we got any funeral directors out there, let us know what y'all come up with. But anyway, that's the story of the mystery of the hip joint. I've been saying I'm going to do it for a while. I just had not got around to do it. It's cold, rain, snowing outside, so I'm trying to get caught up on some old videos that I've told y'all I was going to do and I hadn't done yet. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Don't forget to click like, comment below, share, and subscribe to the Gigmaster. I appreciate everybody coming along on this adventure. We'll see you on the next one real soon. We'll be getting out there back out. The weather's a little rough right now, but we'll be getting out.